Jim Gordon here in the offices of the Richmond Sentinel. Time for another edition of Richmond Stories. Jim Wishlove is a lifelong BC resident. He began his career in the fire services as a volunteer firefighter before being hired full-time as a member of Richmond Fire Rescue in 1990. Jim served as a firefighter, a dispatcher, and instructor in several disciplines, and he progressed through the ranks to training officer and company officer. He was promoted to deputy chief in September of 2009. In 2012, Jim made the transition to the new Westminster Fire and Rescue Services, but he returned to Richmond in 2018 and currently serves as fire chief. And joining us now is Jim Wishlove. He is the chief of Richmond Fire Rescue. Jim, thank you for having us in your, I'll call, office.
Thank you very much for coming in today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's great to sit down and talk with you. Recent cover story in the Richmond Sentinel. We're here to talk to you now. Right off the bat, looking at your history, you worked your way up from the ground up, of course, and I've always found it fascinating when I can sit and talk to a leader who has started at the ground and worked his way up. How has that affected you and your leadership and how you lead this team?
I feel really fortunate that I've had the opportunity to cut my teeth, let's say, by coming up through the ranks. I started off in this business as a volunteer firefighter in a small municipality and then got hired in Richmond in the spring of 1990. So I have had a chance to see and work at many levels in the fire department. It has supported my leadership or my ability to lead because I've actually done the work for real for many, many years, over 20 years. And so when my staff are coming to me with a request or I'm trying to make sure I procure some good equipment, I have a decent understanding of what they're actually going to need it for and why. And it allows me to advocate better for the membership and for the safety in the community.
I would imagine too, to be honest, it's that you have been there and done that, so to speak. That must add credence when you're talking to younger men and women that are coming up, that Jim has been there like we're doing now.
It can.
Yeah.
I believe, a lot of the young people we're hiring are quite young, even though they're able to work. And so I still potentially am viewed as one of the old people in the organization, which is fine. Yeah. But I think the ability to connect with people helps because I have been there in their shoes before.
Let's look at that landscape for you over the, not to embarrass you, 35 years. How have things changed for the person, the man, the woman that does the job of firefighting? There are things that they weren't responsible for 25 years ago that they now are. How have things evolved? I'll use that word evolved, and I mean that in a positive way.
Absolutely. That evolution has happened for a number of reasons. The environment itself has changed. The population in the city has become more dense, and a lot more people are obviously moving here for good reasons. The job that firefighters today in Richmond have to do, there are many more hazards and many more reasons for their service to be delivered than there were 25 or 30 years ago. Right. One example would be in medical emergencies. When I first started in 1990, the fire department was just beginning to be called for medical emergencies. And fast forward to today, that's more than 50% of our core business and our calls for service.
And you brought up a good point before we went on camera, which is that people's habits and education and knowledge have changed. I was joking, not joking, but fewer people are smoking in their apartment now. That must have, helped with the decrease of fires. So you guys have to evolve, don't you? Because if there are fewer fires, we need to put you guys in areas where you can help in other areas.
That's absolutely correct. I have to say there's been a tremendous push in public education and outreach and awareness of the community themselves for them to be safer and have safer practices in their homes, which reduces the amount of calls for service that we have to provide. And so that smoking example for one is one strategic piece that's changed. People find they're healthier now because they don't smoke as often. And ancillary effect is that there's less fires caused by cigarettes for that reason. Other things such as the fire code and the building code have become a lot more prescriptive. And so buildings are being built to a much higher safe standard than they were before. And so people are safer in their homes. And the chance of fire spreading and injuring them are reduced now than they were many, many years ago.
I would imagine one of the other things you've seen, Jim, as well, is the attention, rightly so, to the mental aspect of the job. I think about, say, professional sports like football, where it was like, oh, just got his bell rung, get back in the game, shake it off. The Army and how they've dealt with it, the Navy, those branches. And I would say with you guys too, is that there's a focus on assistance with mental health.
There has been a really strong emphasis on it, and there's still a lot more work that has to be done. But in collaboration with the municipality, with our union, and a lot of outside professionals, we deliver preparedness training, resiliency training, and then post-traumatic support training for people if they're involved in a really significant event. Today, they're taken offline, they're given the opportunity to debrief and defuse, and if they need time away from the workplace right away, they can have that as well, and then come back on a structured plan for them so that they're not forced right back into service again, so they can absorb and become resilient again and then come back to work and be 100%.
Now, again, over the decades, have you seen things on the front lines, and this is not being overly critical in hindsight by any means, but is that something that wasn't there? Like, was it more of get the person back into the field as soon as possible if they've gone through a traumatic event compared to now? I mean, education and evolution is everything, but...
It is, and we have the benefit now of looking back and seeing the history and how the history has impacted staff and affected them. And so that's a benefit, and we're trying to proliferate that benefit as much as we can. We also listen and regularly solicit that feedback from our staff right now too. What do you need? What do you want? And how can we help you better? And those questions maybe were less present 20, 30, 40 years ago. As well, the culture towards work and service has certainly changed, and so leaders now are actually servant leaders. Myself as well, I regularly seek and ask my staff, how can I help you better? What do you need from me? Whereas 30, 40 years ago, it was a different reporting relationship for sure.
Yeah, and again, that's not being overly critical of back then. It's just knowledge and education as we grow and get smarter. Speaking of the landscape, this is something that you're very proud of, that you have. I don't know how many women were doing this job 30, 40 years ago, but you actually have a great amount of female representative and presence here in your station.
We do, we being the fire department.
Fire department, yeah.
And while I personally can't take credit for that, the department itself has such a strong and healthy culture of team and inclusiveness and welcoming that candidates choose to come to work here when they have a choice. And as a result, we believe we have more female members on our job than any other department in the province. And also other non-traditional demographics are more populated in our department than anywhere else. And so at any given day in Richmond, you might have 3 to 7 or 8 different languages being spoken by our staff that are delivering services. And I think it's important that the community, when they receive service from the fire department, they see somebody wearing our uniform, but who looks like them, has their culture, and understands exactly what's going on for them personally.
Let's talk about other things that have evolved in your time in this field. I imagine the technology is beyond belief compared to when you started in 1990.
We still use water to put fires out.
Good to hear, right?
Water supply. How we apply it and how that water is delivered certainly has progressed through learning and through change. Areas where technology really has evolved is in the makeup of the equipment, the safety equipment that we wear, how we detect fires and find out where they are inside of a building, and then we can be more effective and efficient in our attack and extinguishment of the fires. We also recognize that with the changes in the building code and the fire code, we can disassemble construction differently now than we could have 30, 40 years ago in order to get at the seat of the fire and thus prevent any further fire spread and reduce the damage, which reduces potential for injury, reduces exposure to my staff, also reduces the impact on the insurance industry, which we all have to pay for insurance at the end of the day as well.
We were talking before we went on camera about how do you approach, say, 30, 40 years ago when most of the buildings in this city, I would imagine, were 7, 8, 9 stories. Now you've got 30, 40. How does that change your approach and your tactical approach to tackling, say, an issue?
Certainly. Again, that structural piece where the building code is prescriptive as to how those buildings are supposed to be built. And so a staircase is actually a protective envelope inside that building. People can self-shelter in, they can evacuate in. Most typically those staircases are not going to be involved in fire because there's no flammables in them.
Right.
And so we can go into those staircases, bring people down in a safe manner, and then go and attack the fire. As well with different construction types now, such as concrete or really heavy timber, a fire that starts in one suite most likely would not spread to another suite if we can get there quickly and attack the fire quickly. Whereas in years past, those fire stops were not as effective in the construction. And so it's a partnership between our quick response, our incredibly able staff and how they attack fire and their courage, as well as the building construction type that works together to reduce damage and reduce injuries to the occupants.
How has the training changed and evolved from 30, 35 years ago?
Yeah, quite significantly. We have people coming into the fire department that maybe still live at home with their parents, or maybe don't have a driver's license, don't drive a car, maybe have very little experience with using tools or doing labor work. And so we have to take that individual because they're a smart person, a good values-based person, they communicate well, and be able to train them and effectively put them into these really dangerous environments where they can operate, survive, and effective a positive outcome. And so our training programs have evolved in that they're much deeper and longer in length now, and we have to teach people how to communicate really well amongst each other, amongst their team, how to use these technological tools such as, the trucks are all computerized, the radio systems are all computerized, our protective gear is a lot more comprehensive and in depth, and so they have to learn how to use that properly and move in it. Physically, they have to be very, very capable to do this work.
Good shape,
and then we have to practice and practice and practice until they can do it without second guessing themselves, and then train them in semi-live environments and slowly progress them up before we deploy them live.
How long would a new cadet, for lack of a better phrase, comes in? How long are they looking at until they're doing the job?
Right now, when somebody is hired, whether they come with experience or not, we train them for 16 weeks, and then we deploy them to the fire company where they do a couple of weeks in an orientation, and then they get deployed live.
That's fascinating. Hey, let's talk a little bit about you personally. I never heard this as a verb before, but you're a piper, which means you play the pipes.
I do play the pipes,
and you have played the pipes with probably the most famous musician ever, Sir Paul McCartney, twice. Tell us a bit about that experience.
Yes, I'm very lucky to be a member of the pipe band from the Delta Police, and so we played at BC Place and at GM Place when Paul McCartney was on tours through Vancouver, and so those were really good experiences for us. It was great to play with a rock icon and an idol like that. And he was actually quite a gentleman and quite receptive to us as, let's say, regular people performing on a stage with him at the time.
Yeah, I guess you could take him out of Liverpool, but from what I've always read, you didn't take the Liverpool out of him, right?
No,
he's a real good guy. Hey, we appreciate you taking some time to talk with us, Jim. It's fascinating to hear about what you do and what your team does. I will say continued success and safety for you and everyone you work with. Jim Wishlove is the Chief of Richmond Fire Rescue here in Richmond. Another Richmond story. Well, from the Chief of Richmond Fire Rescue to the, I gotta get this lovely title right, Acting Captain of Community Relations, Kylie McDonald is joining us now to talk about everything that you do. And I have heard from Jim that, boy, every kid of the age of 11 knows who you are in this town because of what you do. Tell our viewers a bit about your job and what it entails.
So my job is basically going out in the community and doing absolutely everything community related, whether it's education or events. And I just like to have a lot of fun with that. So we've been able to create a lot of really great programs because of it.
And let's blow your horn in this department's horn. You've created, Jim was saying, you were saying, online education and branding, which has been recognized around the world. People come to you and go, can you help us to do that for our part of the world?
Exactly. So the way it came around is I used to work for another department, and I was basically standing in front of young children for an hour. And we know that the attention span is limited.
Commendable.
Yeah, so we wanted to be able to meet the children where they were at. And so many kids learn based off of watching YouTube videos. So that's what we decided to develop. So we created this online education program with 5 or 6 minute videos. And then after the videos, they do a little activity. And then after they've completed the entire program, we actually show up with a fire truck or we show up with our turtle gear, and we do a demonstration there. And then we're creating a grade 6-7 program now as well, where we're going to teach them how to do CPR.
Oh, that's so cool. One of the themes that I discussed with Jim was how things evolve. And I know that my business, social media, digital assistants, other platforms, really wasn't a thing that I had to concern myself with 15, 20 years ago. Now you do, or you perish. And so I think with what you guys do, how has that changed in your time and from what you've read before your time, where this is vital, this is essential now. You have to be out in the community with voters, with people, but also the kids.
Yes, exactly. And that's actually how we were able to gain so much acceptance into the community, and also gain so much visualization out into the entire world, because we were on that social media and we were able to create these brands that actually caught people's attention.
That's interesting. So, is it too early? I mean, when you're a kid, it goes without saying you want to be a policeman, a fireman, or woman. Is it too early at that age of 10, 11 that you're looking at? These are future recruits possibly in 8, 9 years.
Definitely. So we don't really have many saying that they want to be firefighters at that age.
Right.
However, when the kids reach about 14, 15 years old, that's when they really start gauging more interest in becoming some type of first responder. And that's actually quite exciting, because previously it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, I can see that. Can you talk a bit more about programs that you're implementing into the community?
Yeah, so we meet with cadets, we meet with scouts, with Girl Guides, just to give them the fire and life safety education that they need at that age group, like what's relevant for them. And then for the older age groups, we meet with businesses, we meet with stratas, and then we're able to give them specific fire and life safety education for their common interest, whether it be their building or be their business or just their common meeting area within the community as well. And we're not doing PowerPoint presentations, we're having an actual conversation with people.
Good.
Yeah, because the moment you put on the PowerPoint, it's like, I'm going to bore you for the next hour.
Yes, no matter how good a speaker you are, that can shackle you.
Exactly.
And talk more about how your department is evolving in terms of other programs. I mean, are you in this? I saw you when I came in and we were talking about, you were standing there working away on your computer. How much time do you spend here compared to out in the community?
I'd say it's about 70% of the time here, and then 30% of the time out in the community. A lot of my work does revolve around not the conventional work hours,
right?
Because that's when people are home, or that's when the events are happening. So I'll, like for instance, this weekend, I'm going to be over at another fire hall of ours, and we're collaborating with BC Ambulance, and we're doing a huge education session for people from Hong Kong.
Okay.
So it's different every single week, and some weeks I'm out a lot.
I would imagine your weekends are often full with work, I would imagine, because that's where these events and community gatherings are taking place.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, it's been a great opportunity to talk with you and Jim. Commend you on all the great work you do, he does, and your teammates here all do. Kylie McDonald is the acting captain of community relations and known to every person who's under the age of 11, I hear, in this city. Thank you very much.
Thank you.